Navy is enlisting a new recruit in New York, and it's something of a special event. Officials of international business machines and high-ranking naval officers are on hand for the induction of the Navy's newest recruit. It's called the Naval Ordnance Research Calculator, NORC for short, and it's described as the world's fastest electronic brain, never needing a vacation for multiplication. The lady can tell what's going on by watching the numbers, if she doesn't blink. Enough flashing lights for a Christmas tree and spinning reels loaded with data help NORC to handle 1 million numbers a second, solving complex research problems for the Navy without even a pencil.
That was a 1954 newsreel about a supercomputer which was, for a decade, the fastest in the world. And it's only 6.5 trillion times slower than the computer we're going to meet today. Excited? You should be, because this is The Hook. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Roush, and I love the University of Texas so much that when I watch the World Cup, I always root for the Dutch, because if you turn the brightness down on your screen, it kind of looks like you're rooting for the Longhorns. So in this edition of The Hook, we're talking about Stampede, and no, I'm not describing your favorite scene from the 1991 breakout hit Western comedy City Slickers. I'm talking about UT's fastest and newest supercomputer over at the Texas Advanced Computing Center, or TAC. But first things first, if you'll excuse me for just a second, I need to ask TAC Director Dan Stanzione a question. So what's a supercomputer?
Sure, it's like a regular computer, only more super.
Uh-huh.
In the case of Stampede, we have, depending on how you count, somewhere between 100,000 and 500,000 processors in it. So it's really about the scale of the system that makes it super.
Now, what makes Stampede so interesting is the way this warehouse-sized computer gets used. More than 10,000 researchers around the world from 350 different institutions are using Stampede to crunch huge data sets and work through complicated equations and run advanced simulations in all sorts of research areas.
It's from astronomy to zoology and most fields of science in between. Most of the work, the traditional work, is simulation, figuring out how to build a better engine or a better aircraft wing or a better material for a semiconductor. We look at colliding black holes and forecasts of the climate.
Much like the programming on your local PBS station, Stampede is supported by the National Science Foundation. And out of all the publicly supported open supercomputers in the world, Stampede is the biggest and the fastest. And out of all the supercomputers in the world, it is the 7th fastest. But if you're anything like me, you're naturally very paranoid and now convinced that Stampede is the first step on a very long march to a super intelligent, human-destroying supercomputer network a la the Terminator franchise. Convince me otherwise, Dr. Stanzione.
Hopefully a fair ways away from Skynet. I don't think Stampede is self-aware. I'm going to speak a little more quietly since we're sitting right in front of it, and we wouldn't want it to hear this if it is. But nonetheless, machine learning is actually one of the really interesting thing that's happening in computing right now as we look at smarter and smarter algorithms mainly to sift through the amount of data we have. And we're starting to see where computers in facial recognition, for instance, can do better than humans. I think Facebook's big cluster algorithm for picking out your friends is usually more accurate at identifying them in photos than you are.
Oh, and before you go, what makes your job so cool, Dr. Stanzione?
Great thing about this job is you have a new one every day in some different field, from looking at how to make traffic better in Austin to how the universe form.
If you want to learn more about this supercomputer, check out their super website down in the description below me, where it is paired up with some of the best UT news this side of the tower. You can meet a McCombs grad who's bringing a little creativity to her business. You can learn why college is still worth the cost, hint, it's a good long-term investment, and you can find out how UT is number 5 in the world for number of patents. Also, don't forget to subscribe to The Hook so you can see it every single week, and check us out on your favorite social medias. And until next time, I'm Andrew Roush. You stay hooked.